Welcome to Align Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda and I'll be guiding your practice today. As we practice, my question for you today is this. How is God refining you? God does not promise that following him will be easy. In fact, he says quite the opposite. The prophet Zechariah says, I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. And just to put this into context, God is testing the faithful here. 2/3 of the people have walked away with them. He says this third I will put into the fire. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name and I will answer them. I will say they are my people. And they will say, the Lord is my God. Whatever fire you are walking through in the moment, know this, God is with you. He is in the middle of it. He is checking the temperature. He is molding you and transforming you so that your faith can be deeply rooted, so that in the worst of times, you know that God is with you. He has called you his own. You are precious like silver and gold, and you will declare, the Lord is my God. Today's practice will be a practice of twisting. So as we twist, we will be sort of letting go of all of the things that we need no longer, all of the things that are getting in between us and God. But also, we're going to work on refining those twists. So this is a back to the basics class, and we are going to really work on twisting technique. Come to a comfortable seated position, maybe elevating your hips up on a blanket or a block. Rock a little bit side to side, front to back. Stack shoulders over hips, top of the head reaching to the sky. I invite you as you settle to close your eyes, to let the day behind you go, to let all of the to-do lists go. Set aside any distractions in your life. Begin to find breath, noticing where you begin today. What's the quality of your breath? Begin to slow down your breath, inhaling and exhaling through the nose and inhaling down the body, fully inflating the lungs, opening up the rib cage, breathing all the way down into that diaphragm muscle. And as you exhale, feel the belly draw in and up a little bit. The rib cage contract, the lungs empty. Begin to notice how the breath moves within the body, how it feels. Begin to notice how the body responds to breath. Where can you soften or relax? Where do you find support and stability? Take 2 more breaths here. Begin to connect movement with breath. As you inhale, let the arms rise high, the gaze come up, and exhaling, float the hands down to the mat, bowing your head. Begin to check in, noticing what it feels like to move. Noticing any kinks, any place that you feel stuck or tight. I invite you today to find a fluidity in your practice. Think about this refining process where the silver is melted down and then reformed. We're going to shift this just a bit. Take a nice deep breath in, and as you exhale, take a gentle twist to the right. Hinging forward at the hips, come all the way up, and exhale into a twist in the left. So back and forth here a few times. Try to twist without effort. Just kind of floating back to wherever your body takes you. One more each time like this. Next time you come to the right, stay there. Pressing into your fingertips, begin to lengthen through the spine. So part of finding a twist is finding space between each of the vertebrae, creating space for the spine to move so that it's not all compressed. Top of the head rises. Notice why you stopped here. What is tight? Maybe it is your lower back. Maybe it's your hip. Maybe it's your shoulder girdle. Just notice, no changes. Taking a deep breath in, come all the way forward and rise. Exhale and twist. Again, just checking in, begin to notice. Where did you stop here? Why did you stop here? Can you lengthen through the spine with that inhale? Taking a deep breath in, come forward. Come off the blocks and bring both the legs wide and out front. So if you do have props, go ahead and bring them to the front edge of the mat. Starting here, just begin to kind of bend and straighten the legs a few times. Release any tension in those hamstrings. Windshield wiper the feet. Find the sitting bones. We're going to start here. Take your hands forward as you hinge forward and just kind of notice where you go. What is tight today? Notice that the way that you rotate your feet will affect the stretch. Maybe the toes are turned slightly to the outside. Maybe the toes are turned in. What feels right for you? Gently press into the hands and come up. Take your thumbs into your hip crease. Begin to massage out that psoas muscle, this muscle that gets so tight with all of this sitting that we do. Press in and down towards the back, lengthen through the spine and come forward. Bring your arms forward and down to support you. And notice, is there a difference in your dragonfly now? So as you settle here, consider the anatomy of twists, the physiology of twists. As we lengthen through the spine, we decompress the vertebrae. As we do that, we create a little bit more room for the oblique muscles to turn us to the side. So maybe you found after you worked through that psoas muscle a little bit that you had a little more length in the spine. Go ahead and bring your hands to either side of your thighs and walk them down your leg and find your forward fold here. Take a couple breaths here, breathing into the back to release any tension in the upper back. Continue to lengthen the spine with the inhale. Let's find our twist here. Bring that left arm all the way up and out. And wrap the rib cage around as you bring that arm underneath and to the other side. Right arm rises, comes underneath and to the other side. It's just a gentle twist back and forth here. Again, very little effort in this. Just find where the body takes you. Notice why you stop where you do. One more time, each direction. And I invite you to settle at center again. Again, just take those arms to the tops of the thighs and bring them down towards the ankles. Fold forward. Imagine the hip creases drawing back. Maybe activate the muscles of your legs. Top of the head reaches towards me. So rather than letting the forehead come down to the mat, how much length can you find in that spine? And then bringing the hands forward, settle here for a breath. How has the pose shifted and changed? Taking a deep breath in, press into your hands and rise up. Come to your knees and hands, meet me in table. From table, begin to warm up the back a little bit more, cat and cow a few times here. Continuing to warm up the body, bring your hands one handprint forward, come to your knees in a kneeling plank. And as the elbows reach towards the sky, come down to the mat. Bring the forearms wide, raise the chest about a half an inch off the floor. It's just hovering there. And then round those shoulder blades around and under and tuck them under the ribs and find Sphinx pose as the heart rises. I invite you to come in and out of this a few times. What do you notice? Can you continue to lead with breath? Next time you rise into Sphinx, stay there. Begin to activate the muscles of the legs, pressing down through the tops of the feet, engaging the quadriceps. Stretch through the abdominals as you lift through the back. Feel the forearms pressing down and imagine the elbows drawing towards the hip points. Exhale and release, hands to rib cage. Come up through table and curling the toes under. Find that first downward facing dog. Knees come up into the rib cage. Head comes down between the arms. Begin to pedal through the feet. Taking a deep breath in, heels rise. Exhaling, heels come down towards the mat. Begin to feel the stretch in the calves, the length in the Achilles. Begin to engage the quadriceps, drawing knees towards hips. And again, just thinking about these hip creases today. Imagine the hip crease pulling back and slightly up. How much length can you find in the spine? Taking a deep breath in, the right leg rises high, gaze comes forward as the foot comes all the way through the hands. Let that back knee tap down and up. As you're ready, let the back knee come down to the mat, top of the foot to the mat. Take a deep breath in, bring the arms all the way up. Taking a deep breath, push the arms up a little bit further. Maybe as the arms lift, as you lengthen from hip to shoulder, you also feel a little bit more length in the spine. Right hand comes back to the sacrum bone. Exhale, twist, and bring the arm across. Deep breath in, get long. Exhale, look to the back. What do you notice in this twist? One more breath here. Exhale, release, arms rise. Find that length again as you fold forward. Go ahead and press that back leg up. Bring the front foot to the back. Meet me in plank. From plank, come down to the mat. Find your back bend. Maybe you stay in Sphinx today. Maybe you move on to low cobra or upward facing dog. Bring those hands back and breathe your way into downward facing dog, meeting me there. Check in, noticing just with that very small, low lunge sequence, is there a difference in the right and the left of the body? And then let that left leg rise high. And then gaze forward, foot comes all the way through. Let the back knee tap down and up. As you're ready, let that back knee come down top of the foot to the mat. Taking a deep breath in, rise up. Again, using breath, lengthen through the spine. Take that left hand to the small of the back and wrap the ribs around as that right arm comes across. Find the twist here. Notice where the gaze goes. Notice where the sensation is in the body. As you're ready, release. Hands come down to either side of the foot. Go ahead and raise the back leg. Bring the back leg forward. Meet me in that first forward fold. Shake your head out, no and yes. Engaging through the abdominals. Hold on to the elbows. Begin to decompress the spine from here. So now you have gravity helping you. Top of the head reaching towards the mat. Find space in those vertebrae. How long can the spine get? Bend the knees if you need to. Imagine the hamstrings reaching up and into the hips. Stay here. Let the hands come softly to the mat. I invite you to take your right thumb into that hip crease. Go ahead and press that leg a little bit back. Other side. So again, just massage out that psoas muscle. Press back. Deep breath in. Get a little bit long in the spine. Exhale, forward fold. What do you notice? And taking a deep breath in, bring those hands halfway up. Again, top of the head is reaching towards the front of the mat. Go ahead and bring those hands behind you. How long can you get from the top of the head to your fingertips? And then the arms forward and up. Rise up into the tallest mountain you've been in for weeks. And exhale, hands to heart. Take a breath here. Taking a deep breath in, arms rise high. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to heart, hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down, one leg back and then the other. Meet me in plank. Again, from plank, come all the way down to the mat. Maybe you are now in straight legs. Maybe you're still kneeling. Find your back bend of choice. Meet me in downward facing dog. Shake your head out, no and yes. Find your breath. And check in and notice what you notice. Taking a deep breath in, let the right leg rise high. And gaze forward, bring the foot all the way through. Take a deep breath in and find that lunge. Go ahead and bring the hands down to the side. Go ahead and just gently rotate all the way around. Drop the back arm, lift the front. Stay here for a breath, beginning to lengthen through this back hip. Sink into the lunge a little more deeply. Release and come forward. Bring the hands down. Go ahead and bring the back foot up to meet the front. Head come down, shake out, yes and no. Stay here, reaching the right arm forward. Bring the left arm around. So the legs and the hips stay in place. Let the body twist as you lengthen the spine. Release and go the other direction. Hands to either side of the feet. Leave the left foot here. Bring the right leg back. Rise up in your lunge. Let the hands come out to the side. Twist towards the front of that leg, towards the front leg. Drop the back arm, lift the front. So again, as you lengthen through the spine, how much stretch can you find in this psoas muscle of the long leg of that? I have to think about it here, that right leg. As you're ready, release. Go ahead and bring those hands all the way down. Bring the back foot forward. Meet me in forward fold. And from forward fold, hands to shins, rise up halfway, find that length. This time, bring the hands down, sink the heels, rise up into chair pose. So to really settle into chair today, I invite you to bring your thumb and your third finger together, bring them to your shoulders, elbows together, find a little cat. Elbows rise, lengthen, find cow. 2 more times here. I invite you to bring both arms up, settle into chair, and then take this right thumb into that right hip crease, massage it out a little bit, press the glutes back and down, bring the body across as you hinge forward, lengthen, and come across. From here, bring that elbow, bend the elbow, bring the hand up, stack your palms. Just begin to notice, how does this twist feel? Taking a deep breath in, let the arms rise all the way up. Meet me in mountain. And exhale, hands to heart. Taking a deep breath in, arms rise. Exhale the hands down, sink the hips, find that chair pose again. Engage through the abdominals. See if you can find that neutral position of the spine. Left thumb is going to come into that hip crease. Again, you're going to press it back a little bit. Press the glutes down a little bit. Hinge forward and get as much length as you possibly can. Reach, reach, reach to the front of the mat. Then find that twist across. And as you catch the outside of the leg with that upper arm, stack your hands, stack your arms, find your twist. How much length can you find in the spine? Exhale, hands come down, arms rise. Hands to heart, meet me in mountain. So checking in, just notice your heart rate. Remember that a back to the basics practice doesn't necessarily mean a physically easy practice. It's just not too complicated. Can you feel your heartbeat? Can you slow it down with an exhale? Deep breath in, arms rise. Exhaling, forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Find that length in the spine. Exhale down. One leg back and then the other. Meet me in plank. Find length even here from the top of the head to the heels or to the knees. Come all the way down to the mat. Find the back bend. And meet me in downward facing dog. Find your breath. Notice what you notice. What happens if you soften through the hip crease a little bit? If you engage the muscles of the legs. Taking a deep breath in, right leg rises high. Gaze forward, bring the foot all the way through. Take a deep breath in and rise up. Hands to heart. Find your steady lunge. Bring that hand to the hip crease. Draw the hips down and back. Bring the arms forward and stretch as long forward as you can. And hands to heart, now rotate. Outside of that arm catches the thigh. Elbows are stacked. Get long in the body. As you're ready, release. Go ahead and pivot towards the back edge of the mat. Let the hands come forward in a downward facing dog back. So again, we're just lengthening through the back here. Go ahead and leave that right hand where it is. Take that left hand to the top of the hip. Go ahead and press into that hip crease a little bit, then just slide the hand down the outside of the leg towards the ankle. And just notice where you go. Where do you find the release in this twist? And then same thing on the other side. So again, you're just going to kind of press into that hip a little bit. Take the hand to the outside of the leg, slide it down. Shake the head out, no and yes. Release the tension in the neck. And come back to downward facing dog, meeting me there. Gently walk the hands back in, pivot to the front. Bring the front foot to the back, meet me in plank. And from plank, come down to the mat. Find your back bend. And hands to rib cage. Curl the toes under. Meeting me in downward facing dog. Shake your head out, no and yes. Taking a deep breath in, left leg rises high. Gaze forward, foot comes all the way through. Rise into your lunge. Hands to heart, settle into the lunge. Front knee right over the ankle, stretching through the psoas in the back. Take that thumb to hip crease, massage it out. Draw those hips back and down. Reach forward, lengthen through the spine, fingers to one wall, toes to the other, top of the head, reach, reach, reach. And then find the twist. Bring that arm across to that front leg, stack the shoulders. Notice where it takes you. One more breath here. Exhale and release. Go ahead and pivot wide. Again, find that downward facing dog. Lengthen through the spine here. And I invite you just to walk those hands behind you, rotate them behind you, top of the head towards the mat, get a little heavy. Reach the fingertips as far back as you can. Maybe the head comes all the way down to the mat, maybe not. Again, just decompressing the spine in this delicious forward fold. Hands come forward, pivot to the front. Bring the back leg forward. Meet me in forward fold. And hands to shins, rise up halfway. And sink the hips. And find that chair pose. And again, let's come to fingers, thumb and third finger. Go ahead and just bring the elbows together and back a couple of times. What do you notice in the back? In the chest? The arms rise. Again, right thumb to right hip crease. Press into it, draw it back a little bit. Feel the length in the spine. Hinge forward, reach, reach, reach. And then wrap the ribs around, find the twist. This time, maybe that arm stays straight. And can you stack the shoulders? And then as you stack the shoulders, maybe that top arm reaches to the sky. And how does this twist feel? Find your breath. One more breath here. Exhale and release, finding length in that forward fold. And hands to shins, rise up. Exhaling, come down. Keep that spine long as you reach forward and up and rise into that tall, tall mountain. And exhale those hands down. So from here, sink into your chair. You know where we're headed. Go ahead and bring the thumb to that hip crease, other side. Again, massage it out. Mine is very ropey. I don't know what yours feels like, but there's probably a whole lot of tension there. Go ahead and draw that hip back a little bit. Draw the glutes down a little bit. Hinge forward. Reach as long as you can. That hip crease reaching towards that wall behind you. Fingers reaching forward. Then rotate the ribs. Bring the arm across. Stack shoulders. Raise the top arm. What do you notice? Stay here for 2 more breaths. As you're ready, release. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down. Come all the way up to mountain. Hands to heart. So I invite you to just stay here for 3 breaths. Check in right side and left side. Notice any sensations in the back and the abdominals. What do you notice? And we're going to move into forward fold one final time. So exhale your way down to forward fold. Stay here. Bend your right knee, bend your left. Begin to notice the stretch in the IT band. So go ahead and bend that right leg. Straighten out the left. Begin to find the stretch up and down the hip and the outside of the hip in that left leg. We're going to add a twist to this. So that left thumb is going to come into that hip crease. This time you're going to press the hip back and slightly up. And then press those glutes down a little bit. Just walk this other hand across that ankle. And very gently, just find whatever twist feels good right here. Start to find that length in the spine. And release. Go ahead and bend your knees, walk them out. Other side, so now that left leg is bent, that right leg is straight. And you take that right thumb into that hip crease. So again, you're just going to press it back. Start by pressing it up a little bit and then just move those glutes down a fraction. Lengthen through the spine, top of the head to the mat. Bring that arm around and begin to stack shoulders. Just go wherever you go. So notice where you feel the effects of this twist. Every twist so different than the last. Release. Walk the legs out a little bit, bend the knees deeply, find your final forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway, exhale down. One leg back and then the other, meet me in plank. This time let the knees come down, child to table twice. I invite you to come into child's pose. Maybe the knees are a little bit wide. Again, can you reach those fingers forward, top of the head forward, reach the tailbone back and under? How long can that spine get? As you breathe, can you breathe fully into the back of the body as well as the front? I invite you to consider a time in the past where you walked through the fire with God. When you came out on the other side, how are you different? Where was God at work in the midst of that? Gently press into your hands and rise up. Come to a seated position, bring those feet forward and let the knees drop side to side. Bring the feet a little bit more forward, come onto your back. Let's just find a gentle lower body twist. So hands out to the side, knees above the hips, shins parallel to the floor. Just come down about 2/3 in one direction and up and over and 2/3 in the other direction. Back and forth here a couple more times. As you're ready, bring those knees all the way down to the right, and I invite you to come all the way over onto the side. So maybe the head is still lifted up. And what we're going to do is we're going to find the twist from here. So in the moment the knees are stacked, you're going to take this top arm, bring it across the hand, the forearm, the upper arm, the chest, all the way across. Let the shoulder blades settle. Let that determine where the legs go. So rather than forcing the knees one on top of the other, I invite you instead to find this twist with the upper body fully onto the mat. Maybe this right hand comes across this top leg and gently guides it a little bit closer to that bottom knee. Can we find a little bit of effort with ease? This is the way I like to think of the refining process. It's hard, it's work. But there's an ease about it because I know that God is the one who is molding me, who is transforming me, and who is bringing this situation into something that will be beautiful. As you're ready, draw the belly down. Bring the back to the mat. Stay here for a moment and check in, noticing the way that your back is settled to the mat. Hips to shoulders, right side to left. As you're ready, hands to knees, gently draw the knees into the rib cage and away. Bring the feet to the mat. Changed my mind. Bring the knees up, feet are up, shins are parallel, and bring them across to the other side. So again, roll all the way over. Start knees stacked. And then you're going to bring this top arm over the bottom arm, over the forearm, the upper arm, the chest. Draw shoulder blades to the mat. Just go wherever the body takes you. Most likely that top knee is pulled a little bit away from the bottom knee. Maybe you take this top arm and gently bring that knee towards the bottom knee. Just make the twist what you want it to be in this moment and find your breath. In this final twist, What are you letting go of today? What has come between you and God? What has come between you and others? What is not contributing to a situation that you are in? As you're ready, draw the belly in, come back to center. Again, check in, hands down at your side. Notice the way the back is settled to the mat. Right side compared to left, hips and the curves of the spine all the way into the neck and the weight of the head. And draw the knees in and give yourself a hug and rock side to side. And knees to ribs and hands to ribs, gently push away and draw in, back and forth here. And as you're ready, feet to the mat, extend long. So windshield wiper your feet and bounce your knees and wiggle your hips. Bring your hands all the way up to the sky and let the shoulder blades drop, and do that one more time. And bring the hands down to your side, palms up. I invite you today in Shavasana to feel as if God was holding you in the palms of his hands. You may be in the midst of the fire, but he is the one that is in charge. He is the one who is holding you safe in the midst of it. You are not melting away to nothing, but instead you are being refined as silver and tested as gold. I invite you to stay here a little longer if you have the time. If you need to come out of it, gently begin to wiggle fingers and toes, rotate wrists and ankles, turning your head side to side. Taking a deep breath in, bring arms up and overhead and stretch as long as you can, fingers to one wall and toes to the other. As you're ready, bend your knees and roll over onto your side, just supporting your head with your arm, finding breath. As you're ready, press into your hands and rise up to sitting. I invite you to come to your sitting bones, crossing your legs in front of you one final time. Check in body, mind, and soul, noticing what has changed since you came to the mat today. Noticing also what has stayed the same and accepting it as it is. Taking a deep breath in, arms rise up and overhead, palms together, and exhaling, bring hands to heart. finding breath. Join me in prayer. Holy God, it is so hard for us to understand why we have to endure the things that we have to endure on this earth. God, we know that you are good and we know that you love us, and sometimes that is complicated for us to understand as well. But today we put our full trust in you, our hope in you, that whatever fires we walk through, you are in the midst and we will not get burned. Instead, we will rise out of it without the smell of smoke, molded, transformed, ever more like you, Jesus. Jesus, it is in your precious and holy name that we pray. Amen. Thank you for practicing with me today.